I'm Dave Luvison, an executive in residence with Loyola University, Maryland. And it's my pleasure today to facilitate this conversation between Matt Bielecki at M&T Bank and one of our students, Jose Trinidad Lopez Camacho, to talk about banking and how it might be a great opportunity for our students as a career path that they could take. So I will turn this over to our two conversants here and try to stay out of the way because I know they've got some interesting things to share with all of you. So Matt, maybe you could start us off with a quick introduction of yourself, and then I'll ask Jose to introduce himself, and then we'll take it from there. Matt?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Dave, and thanks for giving me some time to have a conversation with Jose and the rest of the group. But yeah, so my name's Matt Bielecki. I work for M&T Bank, and I oversee our retail branches in downtown Baltimore. So I'm a retail regional manager for M&T Bank. I've got 13 branches on my team. So most of the branches in Baltimore City. I've been with the bank for about 12 years, and all 12 years have been in the retail bank in the branch network. And I started off in our management development program, same thing that Jose will be starting off in, and kind of worked through the branch roles over that 12 years, and have been a regional manager for the past 5 years. I did my undergrad at the University of Rochester, but my MBA part-time at Loyola.
Great, good. Well, thank you, Matt. And Jose, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, and then since you're the questioner, we'll let you run the show. So please introduce yourself and take it away.
Well, thank you, Professor Luvison, and thank you, Matt, for taking the time. My name is Jose. I'm a current senior at Loyola, studying international business. And I have been in the banking industry for about 1.5 years now. And I was starting with M&T, as Matt say, under the management development program.
Great.
So, Matt, when I was interning, when I first interned as a banking intern, one of the first questions that I asked, and I feel like it is important for other students as well, is why should students consider a career in banking? What sort of things would they learn and contribute to that community?
Yeah, so you're kind of that last question of the community side will be where I start. So, one of the, I think, great things about working for a bank is fundamentally when the community succeeds, the bank succeeds. So if the community surrounding the bank is doing well, and we're supporting that community, and we're educating that community on financial literacy, that community is going to thrive, and that's going to help the bank thrive. So we really believe deeply in supporting the community, whether it's through education, through supporting local businesses and lending, so that community aspect of banking and M&T specifically is really important. But I guess in terms of career, I've shared this before in some conversations. When I first started with the bank, and when I was in undergrad, I honestly didn't quite know what I wanted to do with my career. And I looked at M&T, and they had this management program, and I had some skills in terms of leadership, and I did well in school. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. So they had this program, and the idea was essentially, hey, we'll teach you what you need to know when it comes to the banking fundamentals, the products, the services, how to have conversations with customers. And I was like, hey, that fits me really well, because I'm not quite sure what I want to do, but there's an organization out here that's going to equip me with the skills to be successful, as long as I show up and I do the work and put the time in to learn. And that's, I think, one of the neat things about banking is, like, you can learn the skill sets once you start. And it's probably the same at other organizations and other industries. But what's unique about this is that you can come in and kind of learn the ropes once you start the organization. And what you learn, it really depends on the career path that you take within the bank. So I can say, like, specifically in the retail bank, one of the things that you'll learn just right off the bat is just basic personal financial management. So in order to have conversations with customers about money, we're going to teach you about that. We're going to teach you about products and services that can help customers manage their money, that can help you manage your money. So you'll learn knowledge on that. You'll learn knowledge on investments and insurance. So just that basic financial education, I think, is helpful in life. You'll learn about that pretty quickly. And then as you progress in your career, you'll learn more things around client relationship management, which is a skill set in terms of having good quality conversations with customers, follow up, how to have good, effective meetings, whether with a customer or with a team. So there is a lot that you'll learn, but I always go back to when I started it. Is there will be a lot you won't know, and you won't necessarily have the skill set when you first start. But as long as you have demonstrated your ability to learn in undergrad, and you have that desire to learn and to grow, banking is a great industry to get into, particularly if you like working with people. I think that's a fundamental part of banking that's critical. You gotta like helping people. You have to like that aspect of it. I'll just end with this. Like our purpose as an organization at M&T is to make a difference in people's lives, and that's like the purpose for every single person at M&T. Whether you work in asset management, you work in technology, you work in the branches, you work in business banking, everyone has the same purpose to make a difference in people's lives. So that's really neat to be with an organization that has that clear purpose to say, hey, we are here to serve people and to help people in their lives.
Well, great. Thanks so much. So it sounds like it's definitely a heavy client-facing role, I should say. And following up, what sorts of opportunities and benefits are available to those who decide to go into the banking industry?
Yeah, so there's a ton of opportunities, and it really depends on kind of the path you take within the bank. But I think one of the nice things around working for a bank is that once you are within the bank, there are a lot of avenues that you could take. So for me, I've made the choice to go into the branches and be in the branches for 12 years. But there's a ton of other divisions, opportunities within the bank that people can get exposure to, whether it's business banking, commercial banking, working in investment planning, digital. Digital has become a huge focus for the bank. So, digital marketing and just our technology aspect of banking has grown so much, and we're bringing in so many more people with a technology digital background that 12 years ago we had a very small group. So just the career opportunities and the diversity of opportunities are pretty wide at the bank. And I think from a branch perspective, I think one of the neat things that you get out of working for a bank is just that connection to the community. So as I mentioned before, we are big on connecting to the community, and we do that in a number of ways, not just because we have branches throughout the community and customers come in, but we do a lot of outreach in terms of financial education or just different volunteer opportunities. So even within M&T, we have paid volunteer hours that we give to people so they can go out and serve the community. So not just internally with different career paths, but externally being involved in the community and us promoting that so much, because again, we go back to community succeeds, the bank succeeds.
Actually, Jose, could I ask him a follow-up on that?
Yeah,
okay. Thank you. Matt, one of the things when I was thinking you were talking about the community, it would seem that it would offer a tremendous opportunity for networking. You're going to be dealing with other business people in the community, regardless of whether you're in retail banking, commercial, et cetera. Could you talk a little bit about some of the intrinsic or other kind of benefits that you can get from that? Because it seems like it really helps you become part of Baltimore in your case, right? Really, is that true?
Yeah, 100%. Great point. We're fundamental to the economy. So we're connected to a lot of different pieces of the economy. But one of the key ways that we add value for our customers on the business side and the personal side is just through the connections that we can make with clients. So we view ourselves as a connector of people, whether it's with our clients, clients to clients, to make those connections that maybe they didn't have before, or just in terms of going to different community events to like be a presence, so we can meet new customers and also engage in that aspect of connecting customers. So yeah, I mean, we like to view ourselves as, from a client perspective, like one of those like key resources. They have their attorney, and they have their CPA, and they also have their banker. Like we want to be that key partner with them, and like how we connect people to other people in the community, helps us be that key resource.
And I would think that's really very gratifying, right? I mean, because you feel that you're a part of Baltimore in your case, right? But you feel to be a part of your community in almost multiple levels. Then it must really be satisfying, I would think.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to one of the points that I made earlier. Like I didn't quite know what I wanted to do when I first started with the bank. I was like, hey, this seems like a great organization. I love what they're about. But then you get into the role and you see the value that you can have on an individual when you're having that conversation on how they can manage their money, or how they can do some different strategies to help them achieve what they want to achieve. Or you're working with a business and you take some time to really get to know them and the ins and outs of their business, and you're able to actually add value, and you see them grow, you see them add new employees, or buy a building and expand to a second location. Like that is really neat. And that is one of the aspects of the role that I really enjoy, is like having that conversation, understanding the needs of a client and what they want to do, and then being able to have the resources to help them with that, like being able to lend money. And this whole PPP process, the role we played in that, like what a gratifying thing to be able to work really hard and see the immediate impacts of being able to approve a loan and provide a lifeline to an employer that they can then pay their employees so they can support their families. Like that was really awesome stuff.
Oh, that is. Thank you, Jose. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me cut in there.
Yes, Professor Levison, if you have any further questions.
No, I don't. Matt, is there any final thoughts you want to share with our students about banking? You've really articulated, I think, some really interesting aspects about the ability to interact with the community, the fact that you're helping people, that you're providing something that's fundamental to what people need for their lives. And you've given us a lot of interesting aspects in terms of where it's going. Any final thoughts you'd care to share with them?
Yeah, I mean, I just reflect back to how I got into banking and my perspective coming into it. It wasn't something that I was entirely sure about or entirely confident about, because at that point I didn't know much about banking. And I just be candid. I didn't think about banking. It wasn't something that I really ever thought of. I had an account, just like, okay, well, I don't really think about it. I didn't necessarily think about a career in it. But then when I got into it and I learned more about all the things that I talked about, it certainly grew on me. And I love the fact that we have a direct connection with people every day, and we can truly every single day make a difference in someone's life. And that was always so rewarding, that each day I could come in, I could have a conversation. If I do a good job of connecting with this person, allowing this person to open up and share what they're going through financially or just in life, there's a lot of times that I could figure out a way to help them with whatever they were going through when it came to banking or whatever. So I just got a lot of satisfaction. I still do get a lot of satisfaction out of helping people in those ways. So yeah, I think it's an awesome industry to get into. It's an industry that's rapidly changing, as I suggested. So it's a great time to get into as someone who's new to the working field, because although you may feel like you're at a disadvantage because you don't have as much experience, that could also provide you some advantages in the way that banking is shifting right now.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Matt. One of the things that you were talking about was this idea of being able to actually help the customer see, then clients see solutions. We know from a lot of study about meaningfulness that the more you can see the end result for something that you're doing, the more satisfied you're going to be. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I think about like all the studies that I read of like the increased, I guess, importance of financial literacy and the increase I guess, stress that money causes people, whether on the personal side or even the business side, and the opportunities that we have to help businesses grow. And I think there is such a need out there. It's just we've got to figure out how to fill that need, and always be thinking about that. So that's what I get a lot of satisfaction out of. I get a lot of that's what fuels me. That's what drives me each day.
Well, that's great. Thank you. Jose, any final thoughts that you'd either want to share that with your fellow students about this interview or your experience in banking?
Yes, I just like to share that as Matt mentioned, it is definitely a field that you don't need to be required to be a business major. It is a field that as long as you really have the mentality to learn and apply what you have learned in your everyday working environment, it really helps you to drive that skill set that you're essentially going to need for a later career in banking. And as Matt mentioned, it is a role that really gives a lot of satisfaction due to the fact that it is a heavy client facing role. You can see how your recommendations have really make an impact on somebody's life. And that at the end of the day, it's a very rewarding feeling to have. So that is all I have.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you both for taking the time to do this interview as part of our Sit Down with Selinger series. I have to say, for those of you who are watching this, the energy between Matt and Jose has been great, and it's just been fun going along for the ride on this. Obviously, a lot of interesting things about banking that hopefully we piqued your interest in and maybe answered some questions you had. But I thank you both for taking the time to do this, and I know our students are going to get a ton of value out of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.